to the Fish Life Podcast right here on your Lake Fork Guide. And normally we come in here and do a cheers and we have some music playing and we're laughing and we're cutting up. Unfortunately, this is a very sad week in bass fishing. We've lost one of the greats, one of the greatest of all time, really, if you think about it and break it down. And we're going to talk about that tonight. Mr. Aaron Martens, we're going to explain to you guys why he might have been the happiest guy in all of bass fishing. And it's a complex deal. We're going to break that down. He was a guy I got to know just a little bit. But from what I know about him, man, he was something truly, truly, truly special. We're going to remember that and try to honor him a little bit in our memory of him. And we're all going to miss him. So we're going to talk about Aaron Martens tonight. Hey, we've also got some other stuff going on, Chris. Mm-hmm. We now know, it took a while to figure it out even tonight. We're a little late tonight because we were trying to do some research to understand what's going on at Bass Pro Tour. It's always complicated to know what's happening at Bass Pro Tour. But we have figured out who the new anglers are in Bass Pro Tour and how they went about the process of eliminating or not eliminating and qualifying new anglers in the Bass Pro Tour. So we're going to break that down in detail for you guys and discuss that as well. That's going to be an interesting topic. And we've got a Bass Nation. That's right. Bass Nation champion who's going to be extended an invite to the Elite Series. So all that's going on, even though it's not very celebratory because of remembering Aaron tonight. Cheers, y'all. It's the Fish Life Podcast. Let's get it. First of all, before we get started, I want to thank each and every one of you guys for watching. As always, man, it means so much that you take the time to listen to idiots like us discuss bass fishing and assorted other details and items of our life, which are always just a mess. But we do appreciate you guys watching very much. As you get in here, do us a favor. Hit that thumbs up. Go ahead. Be sure you drop us a comment to let us know who we're talking to. And with that being said, share. Yeah, share. Go ahead.
The share. You gotta share it.
Sharing's caring in a modern world, son.
That's what they say.
Sharing is caring in a modern world. So if you could share this post and help us get out to a few more people, we're awfully desperate and we need the help, all of it that we can get.
Yeah. Can't be confirmed yet, but we might have a new studio next week.
We're working on something that will be certainly more scenic than...
Yes.
And you guys are seeing the most organized part of my garage.
For sure.
If you saw the rest of the garage, it would be flat out embarrassing. It's literally like a bomb of bass fishing went off in here. There is a whole tackle store with the stuff disorganized, just laid about everywhere. It's a complete mess. There's spider webs, which freaks this guy out.
Yeah, I don't like spider.
But yeah, we're working on a new studio, at least for the wintertime next week.
That's right.
Without any further ado, let's say some hellos to the early risers up in here. We got Chance Lopez, OMG Texas 420, MSH 822, Casey Gaby, Bobby Eisenhood, Ken Simpson, Monster Bassin, John Sherrod, Texas Air Gunner, Southeast Bassin TV, and several more as you guys are starting to get in here. Continue to hit those thumbs up, continue to share, and please do drop us comments so we'll know who we're talking to. Once we get later on, be sure and drop some questions, and we'll be happy to answer as many questions as we can get to, as always. That being said, man, let's talk about Aaron Martens. I know we normally talk about fishing stuff, conditions-wise, and how to catch fish right off the bat on these deals. But I don't want to interrupt anything with the importance of Aaron Martens. Man, Aaron Martens is one of the most influential guys, one of the best fishermen. I mean, just as a fisherman, he's one of the best. And I truly believe that Aaron Martens might have been the happiest guy in professional bass fishing. And I'll tell you why in a minute. But before we do that, I want to do this. And we said that we told each other we're going to talk about Aaron Martens. But other than that, I've thought of some things in my head. We haven't planned any of this out, so I want to get the raw reaction to you. Right off the top of your head, what is your favorite Aaron Martens moment?
Oof.
There's a lot of them, I know.
Man, so when the cups first started,
yeah,
a couple of the buzzer beater moments.
You talking about the Summit Cups?
Yes.
When you had Major League Fishing before they left Bassmaster? Okay.
Correct.
Okay.
So the Summit Cup era, some of the buzzer beater catches by Aaron Martens, because he had like 4 of them when they first started going.
Right.
And just, I don't know, seeing pure happiness and joy and just like intensity all kind of bottled up into one.
And he was good at getting that last second dip.
Yes. Like, he literally, we say fish hard to the last cast. Yeah. We always say that. That dude might have been the very best at that.
Yeah. You know, when you talk about Aaron Martens, you can talk about on the water. You could almost separate on the water moments and off the water moments because he was such a unique guy.
That's right.
I mean, let's be honest. He's kind of a weird dude.
Yeah, a little bit of a goober.
He was from California.
A little bit of a goober. Yeah.
No, he was a little different in his belief system and how he lived life and what he thought.
Right.
He was a different cat. But when we're just talking about on the water moments, man, my favorite Aaron Martens moment, hand down, is Lake Havasu, Bassmaster Elite Series, and that win. And it's my favorite for a couple different reasons. One, because when you say Aaron Martens, you said it earlier before we started. Aaron, what is he?
King of drop shot.
Drop shot guy, drop shot master. That's what everybody thinks. I've been fortunate enough to speak with Aaron Martens personally a few times, several times. And I've even interviewed him. I interviewed him on the channel once, and then I filmed one of his seminars he did at a Fun and Sun boat show in the winter one year, just a couple years ago, actually, just a little short of 2 years ago. There's actually an hour-long video of Aaron Martens talking fishing on this channel from almost 2 years ago now. And then there's about 4 years ago, there's a video of me interviewing Aaron Martens and asking him all kinds of questions. And one of the things that he talked about, I believe, in that interview that I did with him was he's viewed as a drop shot guy. He's viewed as a finesse guy. He hates that he's viewed that way. He's like, I don't want to throw a drop shot. I do it because I believe it's the best finesse technique, and a lot of times in tournament fishing, it's a grind more times than not. We're trying to get the bites, the most bites we can, just to get the check or whatever. He goes, so I end up throwing it a lot, and I end up getting a lot of bites on it, winning events on it, or competing in events on it, so everybody thinks of me as a drop shot angler. He goes, I'm really not. He goes, I'm a power fisherman. I'm a flipper, winder, like he's a power fisherman. And so I really enjoyed that Lake Havasu event because Lake Havasu is a very clear water, desert lake. A lot of guys are throwing drop shots. And Aaron Martens was running up a river and flipping reed heads, like punching with like a 1 ounce weight, 3/4 ounce, 1 ounce weight.
I remember that.
Flipping a big stick in braid and catching largemouth in a tournament where a lot of guys were drop shot and smallmouth. Which if you go to a lake when a lot of guys are drop shot and smallmouth, you're going to pick Aaron Martens as a contender because you think he's one of the best at doing that. And here he was doing the complete opposite and showing the way that he really likes to fish from talking to him personally. He's a flipper, he's a power guy. He wants to throw bigger stuff, heavier stuff, and that was a very unique deal too. It also that tournament. The other cool thing that tournament was my favorite moment of his for so many reasons. But another factor was he was probably the most detail-oriented guy, maybe that's ever bass fished.
Yes.
I mean, he was so organized and so detailed, and that's what made him a great fisherman in a lot of ways. But in that particular tournament, he was so dialed in to the details of that bite. And what was happening is in those reed heads, there was birds that were nesting in there and were having babies. And those babies, every once in a while, were falling out of that nest. And those bass were eating those baby birds when they would fall out of the nest. And he was flipping a black bait to imitate those black birds. And he talked about that on the show. And that's just something, that's a level of detail and precision that most of us as anglers just never get to. Something that outside the box, that off the beaten path, and then understanding it to that detail. It was just a very good display of what made him as good as he was, and all of his paying attention to details and all that stuff.
Ever since that tournament, ever since I've seen that go down, every single birdhouse I see on the lake, I flip it.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Me and Cody Mays and Big Pearsall were actually talking about that when we fished Mega Bass last year.
Well, and every time I see birds and reed heads.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you'll see, even in Texas, you'll see some of them black birds running around them reed heads sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
Like on Lake Hallwood's got a bunch of reed heads.
Yep.
Fairfield's got a bunch of reed heads. You see the black birds in there. Man, I always think about getting a big weight and flipping those reed heads because of that. Yeah. Because of that event. So, very, very cool. That was my favorite on the water moment. It was awesome to get to talk to him. The few times that I did, it was great to have him on the channel and interview him. It was really cool being at that seminar he was at as well. So, several moments with Aaron Martens that were some of my favorite moments now. He was just the most detailed guy. And what we talked about, too, he was a little bit odd.
He was very earthy.
A little bit of a different cat, right? Like he wasn't the biggest fan of showers or soap.
Right.
He didn't wear deodorant.
He was earthy.
He was natural. And they called him the natural because of his fishing ability, and that's true. He was just a natural fisherman. But they called him natural also because he was very natural in the way that he lived his life. He wanted to eat organic food. He wanted to. He used, when he used soap, it was organic soap. He used that different type of deodorant that wasn't really deodorant. He was a different cat, man. He thought about things differently, and this ties into why I say this was the happiest man in professional bass fishing. Because when you really talk to this man off camera, behind the scenes, and you discuss things with him, you find out a few things about Aaron Martens. One is absolutely loves his family. Great family man, great family life, from his relationship with his mother to his wife and kids. Did things his entire life to his own deal. He never took anybody else's lead. He was his own man. He marched to his own drum. He did things the way he wanted to, and was still smiling at the end of all of it. Like, it didn't, like, he did it his way and succeeded on the level he succeeded, to Anglers of the Year and championship tournaments. And just, he told me, he's like, one of the things I asked him, I think in the interview, was about sponsors. He was like, don't even think about them. Just go catch them. He's like, I've never approached any sponsor. He goes, I just went and caught them. Sponsors came to me. And that's so true. Like, I've had kids ask me that. How do you go about getting sponsorship deals? You don't.
You go catch them.
They get you.
Yeah. You catch the fish, they catch you.
For me, it wasn't even necessarily about catching fish. It was about producing content that got views. But my content that got views was about catching fish and about trying to help others catch fish. But yeah, my sponsor deals, and all my sponsor deals that work, like my 6 Sense deal, my Smash Tech deal, my Skeeter deal, like the ones that are long term, that are here forever, that have been here for a long time. I have not approached any of those people. That has been a relationship that has happened where we've come together, met each other. They expressed interest in working with me, and that's how it works. And that really is the best way to be about that. But I say that just to say, this man never went asking anybody for anything. Right. He never went looking for anything. He just went out and did things the way that he wanted to do them, and kept his family as a priority through it all.
Yep.
And went to the highest of high levels you can ever go to in something that he really loved doing.
Yeah, he was his
what else can you want out of life, right?
No, yeah.
If you have a great family life, you have a very firm, fond, tight relationship with parents, children, spouse. You're respected by your peers because you've done things your own way. You haven't ever asked anybody for anything. I mean, what else could you hope to accomplish in life other than what Aaron Martens accomplished?
Hey, he did it on his own terms.
Yeah. And
he did what he loved. Loved what he did.
And not knowing Aaron, I don't know him well. Like, he's not a guy that I can call on the phone and he's going to answer, nothing like that. Right. It never was. But just as a guy who admired him, here's what I'll say about his passing. It's awful that we lost him. There's a lot of guys that were very close to him that are going to miss him dearly. A lot of folks across the country. And that's terrible. If he was one of my close friends, here's what I would say. And here's how I would try to see. Here's how I would see it for me. Yes, he was way too young to get the brain disease that he got. He was way too young to leave his children behind. He was way too young to leave this world for so many reasons. But that man lived his life the way he wanted to live it, achieved his dreams to the fullest extent, loved his family as hard as he could love them, and did things the right way. I will go out tomorrow if I can check off every box that Aaron Martens checked off. Yeah, and I'll leave here with a smile on my face.
Agreed.
Like, if I can do what he's done, I'll go home happily. I'll check out and be satisfied with what I've done. I believe as Aaron Martens' health was fading, he had to look back on his life and be very proud of himself. That's and right. Understand that even though his race may not have been the longest, he ran it about as good as you can run one. I mean, he really did.
Agreed.
He really did live his life to the best of that he could have hoped to live it. And so I'm happy for Aaron. I know he's passed on, but I'm happy for the life that he did leave and the example that he set for future fishermen and all those sorts of things.
Agreed. Couldn't put it better myself.
Aaron, you will be missed, buddy. You will be missed,
yes,
but you will be fondly thought of and fondly remembered for so long. For so long, my man. Yep. I don't really know what else to say.
I don't know. You want to check? You want to answer some comments?
Let's see if we got some comments about Aaron. Yeah, let's see what we got going on in the chat here. Bobby Swain says he met him in 2006 at a Love's truck stop in Ozark, Arkansas. We had a 20-minute conversation on how slow the gas pumps were. He's just a dude. He was so happy all the time too. Like, and I think we all saw the side of Aaron, like when he kept getting second. Remember that? He was like the all-time leading second place guy, especially the classic, the KVD. He just couldn't catch that break, and so many heartbreaking moments we saw Aaron experience finishing second. But so you saw like we got to see Aaron Martens at his lowest.
Yeah, at his worst, really.
Yeah, where he was feeling the worst.
Yeah.
Often there for a while. Even though he finished second, had a great event. I mean, he wanted to win. It was sad. But, man, any time that I've ever interacted with Aaron or seen him other than when he just lost the tournament, this guy is the happiest guy you'll ever meet. I mean, he's a little bit goofy, and he's laid back, and he's joking, and he's happy, and he's cutting up, and everybody likes him. He doesn't have anybody that doesn't like him. He's just one of those guys, man. He's one of those guys that's just happy. Happy. Yep. And I think in a modern world where we have so many mental health issues, which we could break down into that conversation on why that seems to be more prevalent now than it used to be. We could have that conversation for days and days. But in a modern world where so many people seem to be, on this medication because they're depressed or bipolar or ADD or whatever they got going on, here was a guy that just took everything in stride and was just happy every time. I mean, I wish that I could be half as happy as him.
Yeah.
Half as happy as him.
Oh, yeah.
Can't believe that he was colorblind. Yeah, he was colorblind, which is funny considering how detailed he was with his fishing baits.
Yeah.
Heath Taylor's colorblind, the guy that makes smash set baits. So when he's custom painting these swim baits and stuff, he's colorblind in doing that.
Yeah.
And Aaron Martens designed his Aaron Martens Magic, which is everybody's favorite Robo-Worm Aaron Martens Magic, everybody's favorite drop shot bait for years. Colorblind dude.
My fishing partner, Cameron, he's colorblind.
Yeah.
He'll be like, is this, he'll pull a worm out of the mix bag and he'll be like, hey, this is orange, right? And I'm like, yeah, it's orange.
Yeah, that's orange. That was another interesting thing about him. Michael Menon says catching 110 pounds over the first 3 days on Falcon in 2008 was my favorite Amar moment. Yeah, he kind of gets forgotten in that event.
Yes, just because of what all went down.
Because Paul Elias won it, broke the record, and there were so many guys that were in there. Terry Scroggins had the
Big Show was in there.
Huge bag on the last day, and Aaron Martens kind of gets forgotten, man. He was this close to being the all-time record holder for 4-day fishing on Lake Falcon that year. Absolutely right. And that was not no finesse fishing event.
No, that was power.
Yeah, and so that goes back to what we were talking about. He wasn't a finesse fisherman. He was probably one of the best all-around fishermen we'll ever see.
Yes.
Where, I mean, you can throw a big swim bait, or you can throw a crankbait, or you can throw a drop shot, or you can throw anything in between, and this guy can beat you.
Yeah.
And can beat the best in the world doing it.
Yes, that's right.
He was one of the best versatile all-around anglers we'll ever see.
Mm-hmm.
Man, it's a tough subject. It's sad, but I'm trying to focus on the positive in this deal,
Right.
But it is very sad. That being said, Aaron, Bass Fishing World loves you, man. We'll miss you. Let's move on. Hey, we've got some cool stuff happening at the end of the year. There's always some cool things that happen at the end of the year. Not a lot of bass fishing tournaments. Kind of the time of year bass fishing. We got spoiled last year. We had a bunch of tournaments in the fall.
Now we don't know what to do.
Now we got nothing going on in the bass fishing world. But wait, there is some stuff going on in the bass fishing world. Chris, what's been going on over at the BASS organization here lately?
So they just had a Bass Nation event on the Ouachita River in North Louisiana.
The championship.
The championship.
The Bass Nation Championship.
That's right.
Now, why is this so important?
Because that was our missing angler for the Elite Series field next year.
There's one more Elite Series invitation to be extended, and it's the champion of the Bass Nation Championship, and that is
Matty Wong.
Matty Wong, West Coast guy, born in Hawaii.
That's right.
Lives in California. Dude, if
he fishes everywhere.
you watch his YouTube channel, which he's had going for a year and a half, 2 years, whatever, not a huge following, not just a tremendous amount of views, but, in the relative scheme of, I mean, he gets views, but not in the relative scheme of YouTubers getting millions of views. This guy, he's got fishing videos from New Zealand, fishing videos from Hawaii, fishing videos from all across the United States. He documents his tournament travels from one bass to Bass Nation. Really interesting YouTube channel.
Yes.
If you want to see fish caught in all different situations all over the world,
yes.
he's a guy that does some of that on his YouTube stuff. So really interesting guy. He's got an Asian name, but he's not one of these guys that was born over there. You know, we've kind of had a little bit of an Asian invasion this year through the Opens.
That's right.
With a few of these Japanese guys coming in, a few more Japanese guys coming in. Of course, we've got Taku and Matsuzaki, and then we got Finn Shikai. We've always had a little Asian influence. Some Japanese dudes are some bass fishermen. We've had a little bit more influence coming in this year through the Opens. He's not one of those, even though his last name's Wong.
Yeah, I mean, don't. I'm telling you, you know me earlier. I'm throwing out puns.
Yeah,
and
it was the Wong day for all the other anglers.
They about to mess with the Wong one.
They messing with the Wong one
because he's going to show up and show.
How much fun is Mercer going to have with this guy's name?
Oh my God,
Mercer, don't let us down.
No, yeah, no.
There's a lot of potential in that name right there.
Yeah.
A lot of potential for Mercer on stage with Matty Wong.
Yeah, don't make the Wong joke, Mercer.
Don't make the Wong joke. Oh, my goodness.
That'd be good. Congratulations to Matty Wong.
Yeah, Matty Wong. Congratulations.
I'm going to be rooting for you because
I want to hear that name.
I want to hear your name as much as possible.
A lot.
There's so many puns. It's so awesome. So fit.
Yeah, I want you to win a lot so we can say your name a lot on this podcast, too.
That's right.
And we can just keep coming up with all the Wong puns.
Yeah, and then we can just start a hashtag Wong Day for Elite Series anglers. You know,
something like that.
Yeah,
we'll keep working on it. Probably won't get any better as usual around here.
He made the Wong turn into a cove, but it paid off for him.
Hey, I want to dig into some of these fishing tours tonight a little bit.
Come on.
I've got relationships with some of these Bassmaster guys now. We've had a conversational relationship with Kelly Jordan over the years here, and some of the Bass Pro Tour guys as well. MDJ, Jacob Wheeler. We've talked to all these guys on this podcast over the years.
Yeah, I mean, me and Kelly buy our onions from the same grocery store, so.
Kelly Jordan's one of my absolute top heroes.
100% agreed.
He's from this area. He started on Lake Fork. He was a guide there. I mean, I have so much respect for Kelly Jordan. And Bassmaster. I love Bassmaster. I've told everybody that I've dealt with at Bassmaster, any dealings that I've had with them, man, they are just an amazing organization with amazing people. That being said, there's some stuff that's messed up. The reason this split in pro fishing happened in the beginning was because Bassmaster was not taking care of their guys.
That's right.
Right? Like, that was the deal. Those guys were getting screwed over. That's the reason. They didn't just venture out and start a whole new tour. They didn't leave the NFL and go start the XFL. Like, imagine if we started the XFL and 80% of the pros on NFL rosters went to the XFL. Imagine that. Because that's what happened in bass fishing, guys. Like, if we start the National Baseball League next week, the NBL, me and you, commissioners, baby.
Right. Somebody's in trouble.
You know what I'm saying? Yep. And then 80% of Major League Baseball comes and plays in our league. What's that say about Major League Baseball?
Yeah, it's not good.
There's something real bad happening.
There's something wrong.
Please win every event, Matty.
Please, Matty.
Please win every event.
Yeah. But no, to your point, that does.
It says a lot.
That's not a testament to us necessarily.
Yeah.
That's a testament to the organization they left from.
Yes, it says a lot more about them than it does the new one.
Right.
Same thing with Bass Pro Tour, guys. Now, I'm going to go in on Bass Pro Tour here in a minute. Stay tuned, Bass Pro Tour. You come up on this podcast here in a little bit too. We're fixing to get after them tonight now. But at that Bass Nation Championship, Matty Wong, in a national championship level event that qualifies him for the Elite Series, how much cash did he win, Chris?
He won $20,000.
Chris, if I go fish the Bass Champs event on Lake Tawakoni next year, or Lake Texoma, or Cedar, if I go fish Bass Champs on Cedar Creek next year, Chris, just one event, one-day team tournament event, Chris, how much money am I going to win?
$20,000.
And Bass Champs has 4 divisions in the state.
That's right.
And they have 4 tournaments in each division. 16 times a year I can fish a one-day team tournament, amateur level team tournament, that guides on that lake can't even fish.
Mm-hmm.
And I can win 20 grand.
That's right.
This man won the Bass Nation. And I realize that's not the top level. It's not even the Opens. I realize that. But this is the championship of the Bass Nation. He's qualifying for the Elite Series. He won 20 grand. I guarantee you he spent more than 20 grand in entry fees and travel costs throughout the year fishing the Bass Nation.
Yep.
I guarantee you spent more than 20 grand doing it.
Guaranteed.
And if you count up tackle costs, fuel costs, lodging costs, food on the road, entry fees, that dude spent more than 20 grand fishing the Bass Nation this year.
Yeah, probably multiples of 20 grand.
Their payout structure, they've gotten better at the Elite Series level.
Correct.
Because they had to.
When they had a mass exodus.
When they had some competition show up that did a better structure on payouts. Mm-hmm. Now, they've crawfished on some of that. We can get into that, too, if you want to. But Bass Pro Tour, right, wrong, or indifferent, set up a better pay scale and pay structure for the top-level pros. And then Bassmaster had to make some adjustments to compete. That's right. So while they have gotten better, I don't feel like they've done nearly enough.
No.
They've not done nearly enough. They're still head and shoulders making gobs more money than the anglers are. Especially their lower level anglers on the Elite Series. Like, if you're not one of the top 20 or 30, dude, you're not killing it, man. You're just not.
You're just existing.
And those guys can't say that because they don't want to set themselves up for failure and get it. You know, they don't want to be in bad standing with bass. Well, I'm not fishing for them, so I can say whatever I want to.
That's right.
You know, and I'm taking a little bit of a chance here because I do have relationships with people there, and I don't want to offend anybody. But this is what it is, man. We're going to tell the truth here, and if we're going to be a podcast about fishing, part of what we do is got to be to criticize. Just like if you're a sportcaster for any sport. Essentially what we are is a talk show about a sport.
That's right.
And every talk show about every sport has got to criticize. Like if all Stephen A. Smith did was say how great every basketball player is, nobody'd listen to him.
Exactly.
There'd be no reason to listen. It wouldn't be interesting at all. Mm-hmm. I mean, sometimes things are messed up, and we got to be honest about it.
Yeah, we're going to be the Kirk Herbstreit of fishing.
And this pay scale situation through the opens is a joke on the payouts.
Yeah. The
payouts in the opens is an absolute joke. It's a crime. The only reason to fish the opens is to try to test yourself against a great field and to try and qualify for the Elite Series. That Elite Series carrot dangling out there, which is so difficult to get qualified through the opens, but that's what everybody's fishing for in the opens. Mm-hmm. It has nothing to do with going and fishing the opens thinking you're going to make a little money on that trail, because you're not.
No.
Unless you win a couple events, you're not going to turn a profit.
I'm going to tell you right now, there's a reason there's a lot of guys that fish strictly bass champs and media trails. And
dudes
stuff
that
like
legitimately make their living fishing local trails. You're right.
Yes. There's a reason that there's people like that, because a lot of these dudes, you know, you can name several right off the top of your head that have the ability to go and compete against those guys. I'm not saying they'd go in and win it hands down. That's not what I'm saying.
Right.
But they have the ability, for sure, to compete with that field.
Yeah.
But there's no money in it.
There is no money. I mean, it's like I said, unless you're winning events, which is, you know, if you bass fish and you understand tournament fishing, to win the event is rare.
Correct.
You can be really, really good and not win any events. Look at Seth Fighter, just completed one of the best bass fishing seasons of all time. Literally of modern times. That's one of the most dominant, maybe the most dominant bass fishing season we will ever see in modern times.
How many times did he win?
0.
That's right.
0 doves. 0 doves. You can be the best bass fisherman on the planet and not win an event. Winning an event, yeah, you got to be good, you got to execute all that, but there's a little bit of luck involved in getting that number one spot.
That's right.
Out of 100 guys, out of 80 guys, out of 200 guys in the opens. There's some luck in that win. And if you're not winning in those opens, you're not making any money.
That's right.
And so to win, it's just a roll of the dice. And almost nobody ever wins 2.
Right.
Like if you win, you're going to win 1, even if you're fishing all 9 of the opens. Mm-hmm. You're not going to win 2. I mean, that's so rare, it's, you know, just unheard of. But
deep breaths, huh?
Yeah, Bassmaster. I mean, I love that organization, and I think they're doing the best job. They have the best content coverage. I mean, event coverage. But it's wrong, man. Mm-hmm. What's going on with the pay scale is wrong. It's really wrong, especially in their opens and their nation level events. When you told me that, I was just shocked that he only got paid $20,000. I'm like, dude, that's what they pay for bass champs, for like a regular bass champ.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got a tournament coming up on Rayburn that some random dude's putting together, and it's a $100,000 payout.
Brandon Belt.
So, what are we doing, Bassmaster?
Speaking of which, you going to fish that?
No.
Why not?
Because listen, in February, I might get lucky and beat Todd Castledine, and I might get lucky and beat Dickie Newberry, and I might get lucky and beat Keith Combs. and I might get lucky and beat Albert Collins, and I might get lucky and beat Derek Mundy.
Wyatt Frankens.
I'm not going to beat all of them on the same day. I'm not. Look, those local guys like that on Rayburn that got their like top secret brush pile they just put out a month ago or whatever they have. I don't know. They're just better on Rayburn than I am. I don't ever fish down there anymore. Like once in a blue moon, once or twice a year. I'm not going to beat all those guys on one day.
Yeah.
And it's an $800 entry fee, dog.
Yeah.
Like it's. I mean, $800 is $800, but like, I mean, it's not that I wouldn't want to spend $800 to go fish a tournament.
Right.
But not against all those guys on Rayburn.
Yeah, no, you and I have the same opinion on that.
There's going to be hundreds of people that sign up for that.
Oh yeah.
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you who's going to win that. One of those guys.
Yeah.
And like I said, they are gamblers. Like they go out and gamble to catch the 5 giants. A lot of Castledine not so much. He's more consistent, but a lot of those guys, Mundy, Albert Collins, Frankens is pretty consistent down there too.
Yeah.
But a lot of those guys, man, in that event, they're going to gamble because they're incentivized to gamble and go for that 35-pound to 40-pound bag.
That's right.
And so they're going to gamble on that day in that event, and they know better places to gamble than I do.
That's right.
Like they're going to the poker table where they've got 2-to-1 odds, and I'm going to the poker table where I got 100-to-1 odds.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to place that bet.
Right.
I'm just not. Not against all of them. Like my 100-to-1 may pay out against 1 or 2 of them 2-to-1, but it ain't going to pay out against all of them. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah,
so,
there's about 20 dudes, 20, 25 dudes that.
there's some names I'm forgetting. No doubt. No doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
And all those people that are going to go sign up for it, it's going to be one of those local hammers that wins that.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I'll take that bet. Anybody want that bet? The Brandon Belt tournament is going to be won by one of the local studs. It's always good down there.
It's in February. It's going to be really hard for me to not go with Derek Mundy on that deal.
Yeah, but Derek Mundy, see, that's the thing. He gambles. If you watch Derek Mundy, even in his what is it, BFLs?
Yes.
His BFL, he'll have 30 pounds on one day and he'll have 13 pounds on the next day. That's the type of fisherman he is. He's local. He knows those spots that those big ones get on. He's not getting a lot of bites, but those days when they don't bite, he's struck. Like he doesn't catch very much weight.
All he needs is for one of his brush piles where 48's sitting down there to bite.
It happened this year for him, and who knows if he'll strike lightning again like that. But one of those guys will.
Yeah.
One of those guys will.
Yeah, they know enough. There's enough local knowledge right there that one of those guys.
Yeah, no, I'm not fishing that. Anyway, payout deal on Bassmaster. We kind of took a right turn there. We went off on a dirt road there for a little bit.
My bad.
Yeah, no, it's the payout scale on Bassmaster. If you look at some of the payout scales, even on local level events, it's insane how much money guys are spending, how much money they're investing in traveling, chasing this Elite Series dream, which I get it. It's the carrot of the Elite Series. But, man, they should be able to figure out a way to pay these guys some more money. If these smaller trails can pay them more money, surely Bassmaster can pay them more money, right?
I mean, if you're talking about guys that have the ability to compete on a level and qualify for your level of... if these guys have the ability to compete at the level of competition that you provide, they ought to not wonder where their next meal is going to be.
Well, now you're talking about to me, that's the Elite Series conversation. Like if a guy is the 60th best fisherman in the world, bass fisherman, if he's the 60th best anything in the world, he shouldn't worry about paying his bills.
That's right.
Like whoever he's performing for and he's 60th best in the world, he should not have to worry about paying his bills.
That's right.
If he's the 60th best fishing rod salesman on earth, he shouldn't have to worry.
Right.
Well, that's a pretty small market. I don't know about that.
Well, nonetheless, though.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like if you're the 60th best professional baseball player, you're making $1 million.
Yeah.
It just, I don't know. They shouldn't have to struggle. If you're in the top 50 of the world at what you do, you shouldn't have to worry about paying your bills. And I guarantee you, the guy that's the 50th best bass fisherman in the world, he's got another job.
Yeah.
He's either a fishing guide, or he's a sales rep for a tackle company, or he owns his own separate business.
And there's a lot of these tour level guys that guide in the off season.
Hey, Frank Talley.
Yep.
I'm going down to see Frank Talley this coming up weekend, man. We're going to have some content coming out with him in the next couple weeks. Frank Talley is probably right in that window of 50 or 60 in the world.
Yeah.
70 in the world, something like that.
Yeah.
He owns businesses.
Yeah.
He owns another business that he operates full time, and then does the bass fishing stuff on the side. Well, hey, that's crazy that those guys have to do that.
Yeah. I agree.
It is what it is, man. Let's move on from that. We've harped on that long enough, Chris. All right. By the way, that is my only complaint about the Bassmaster organization. Literally everything else they do is
Everything
so
else is
top
gold.
notch,
Yeah.
so first class that I just couldn't say enough good things. As bad as I complain about the payout scale, I could not say enough good things about everything else they do.
I agree.
100%. They are a great organization. I've worked with them on media passes at the Classic. I mean, they make you feel like you're part of the family when there's no reason for them to treat me like that.
Right.
And they literally made me feel like I was part of the BASS family when I was coming down there just trying to get a media pass to make a YouTube video that's going to get not that many views in the grand scheme of things.
Right.
I mean, they treat you like family. I love that organization. I really do.
Yeah, no, they're great.
So, Bass Pro Tour has announced their new qualifiers.
Mm-hmm.
We were all wondering after 3 years what would happen. Well, they bought the FLW Tour and renamed it. What did they rename it? The
Tackle
Top
Warehouse.
5. Tackle Warehouse Pro Circuit.
Yeah. And then the MLF Big 5.
Yeah.
I don't remember what that replaced.
I think that's,
Nonetheless.
I don't know.
Nonetheless.
There's so many acronyms. We got the MLF, BPT, and the FLW Big 5, or
I was about to say
then
something.
there's the Tackle Warehouse Series and a Toyota Series and a Phoenix Boat Series.
Phoenix.
I don't know. I
There's
think
all
that's the BFLs is the Phoenix Boats.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff going on over there. It's a multi-tiered organization. We'll just say that.
Yeah, and there's a lot of moving parts.
It can be confusing.
It
at
all
times.
intertwines
It can be confusing
somehow.
at times. So what they did basically is they took the old FLW Tour, which is now the Tackle Warehouse Pro Circuit. I think. I'm pretty sure it's what it
I
is.
think that's right.
It's the old FLW Tour. The top 10 in points automatically qualified to get into the Bass Pro Tour.
That's right.
That's simple. That's clean cut. That's easy to understand. And then I'm like, well, who are they going to eliminate? If they're bringing in 10, they got to eliminate some. They're eliminating no one.
That's a goose egg, by the way.
Nobody got kicked out of Bass Pro Tour. Not one person. Okay, well, how are we bringing in 10? Well, we must be raising the number of anglers in the field.
Right.
Nope, we're going to have 80, just like we had when we started. The first year, 3 years ago, we had 80. We got 80 now after we bring in 10 new ones, right?
Right.
Well, Chris, I'm no math major. Maybe this is Common Core math, so I don't know what's happening here, but that doesn't make sense to me.
No.
So here's what we did. Now, y'all will remember that they started letting the Bass Pro Tour guys started fishing the old FLW Tour, the Pro Circuit.
Yep. During the pandemic year.
So the top 10 in points get put into the Bass Pro Tour. Well, number 1 in points in the Pro Circuit is Michael Neal. He's number 4 in points on the Bass Pro Tour.
On the big stage.
So he just qualified twice.
Yeah. So he gets two shots per tournament now.
Yeah, his weight counts twice.
He's got to count. He's got to catch 2 separate bass.
So if he finishes first, it's like 2 first places?
That's right.
Okay, he gets
Double
first
points.
and second?
Double points.
Okay, I don't know. Anyway, so here's what they did. So they took the top 10, but out of the top 10, 5 of them, Michael Neal, Skeet Reese, Justin Lucas, Cody Meyer, and Mike McClellan, all those guys were already on the Bass Pro Tour. Now, I will say this. Mike McClellan was in the bottom 10.
He needed to requalify.
He needed to requalify if they were going to keep it at 80 anglers. So Mike McClellan, that is legit. He barely made it in. He was 10th in points on the Pro Circuit.
That's right.
Well, we got 5. We still got 5 more. We got Ryan Salzman. We got Cole Floyd. We got Ron Nelson. We got Clabian Johns. That's a heck of a name. And Jeremy Lawyer. Those 5 guys have now qualified for the Bass Pro Tour. Well, if you look at the Bass Pro Tour roster, there's 76 members on there in 2021.
That's right.
One of which is Aaron Martens. Obviously, Aaron Martens is not going to be fishing the Bass Pro Tour next year.
Right.
As cold as that is to say right now, it is what it is. So now we have 75. So those 5 new guys that qualified just so happen to slide right in there. Well, why do we have only 75 instead of 80? Well, let's see. We've lost Brandon Polinick. We lost Gerald Swindle. We lost Greg Hackney. We lost Jason Christie. They all voluntarily left to go back and fish bass and never got replaced.
That's right.
Porosnik also left, and I don't know who they replaced him with.
Yeah, I don't.
I couldn't see the name. I just scanned through the list real quick. Nothing stood out. I don't know. But they've lost about 5 anglers that have voluntarily left. On a side note, real quick, there's some other people out there that and even some podcasts out there and just people in general that act like everybody wants to leave the Bass Pro Tour. 5 out of 80, guys.
Yeah.
75 out of 80, which is a pretty high percentage, have stayed and are still staying even after their 3-year contract.
I'll fall on my sword and say that I was one of those that thought they'd have a lot more leave than did.
Yeah, if you remember after the first year when Swindle and Polnick left, everybody's like, oh, they're all going to leave.
Yeah.
Well, Iaconelli left too.
Yeah.
Iaconelli did leave too, so they lost 6.
Yeah.
So who'd they replace? There was 2 guys they brought in to replace those guys somehow. But anyway, they're basically not nobody's been eliminated.
No.
Nobody has ever, of the original invitations 3 years ago, those 80 guys, none of those guys have gone, yeah, I'd like to fish a Bass Pro Tour next year. And Bass Pro Tour goes, nope, you're cut. You didn't fish good enough, you're out. That has never happened. Not once have they cut a single person off that Bass Pro Tour. Can you pull up that Angler of the Year list, please?
Sure can.
So not once have they eliminated anybody. They've had people voluntarily leave. And here's some food for thought. If we would have eliminated 10, that would have taken us down to where only the top 70 stayed, correct, Chris?
Correct.
Okay, if we would have eliminated 10, like if they would have done what Bassmaster does, where if this guy's already qualified, we go to the next guy down the list in the opens. If they would have done that on the Tackle Warehouse Pro Circuit, then that means that the bottom 10 would have been eliminated, even if you started with 80. So let's say that we just still counted, Polnick and Swindle. We had 80, so we're only going down to 70. Number 71, first one to be eliminated, Boyd Duckett. We can't eliminate the owner.
I don't think you can.
So,
I mean, yeah, you can't eliminate the owner.
Boyd Duckett would have been gone. Mike McClellan requalified, so he's good. Randy Howe.
You ain't getting rid of Randy Hale either.
Marty Robinson. And Kelly Jordan, who's one of the founding guys that helped him get that thing up and going as well at Major League Fishing.
One of the most iconic names in bass fishing.
Now, me personally, I'm really glad that Randy Howe and Kelly Jordan aren't leaving the Bass Pro Tour.
That's right.
I want to see those guys compete at the top tier competition. Like I said, Kelly Jordan is one of my personal heroes and icons. But when you're talking about the top level of bass fishing, and they're supposed to be, and we've said this on this podcast, the best roster of talent that's ever been assembled in bass fishing.
Ever.
We've said that on this podcast. You can't be that if you're not cutting the bottom out every year.
That's right.
Bassmaster cut 23 guys this year. They didn't cut any for a couple years as they were rebuilding from the mass exodus, but this year they cut 23 guys and brought in 13 new. They knocked their field down by 10.
And do you remember some of the names that were down there that would have been gone had they not gotten a legend exemption?
And then they got legend exemption, so we really cut about 20 guys.
Yeah.
Cut about 20 guys, brought 13 new in. So we really eliminated about 7 guys.
Yeah.
But they eliminated 7.
Yeah. It's still a cycle. It's got to be a cycle.
You got to get rid of the bottom and let the new guys have an opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
Because the new guys that come in, some of them are better than you think. Just like the guys that don't get through the opens are actually better than you. Like Lee Livesey, who never qualified through the actual opens standards. He got an invitation on the Exodus year.
Mm-hmm.
Lee's pretty good on the Elite Series.
Yeah.
He's won a couple. He's been in the top 20 of Angler of the Year twice in 3 years. He was in top 10 this year. I think in the top 5 this year.
He was top 5.
He's pretty good. He's an asset. He's an asset, and he makes your organization better. He's a better fisherman today than Kelly Jordan is.
That's right.
Or than, Rick Clunn is.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Rick Clunn's staying in on Legends exemption,
Mm-hmm.
But he's a better fisherman. He makes the organization. If you're going to be the best and the best roster, you're going to have the best fisherman on there. There's no way for us to test that and understand that and know that unless you're getting rid of the ones that aren't the best that are at the bottom and bringing in new guys and letting them have a shot. Here's my other problem. There was always all this talk, these rumors about, well, how are they going to do this? And there was assumptions made that, okay, well, they'll bring in the top 5 or top 10 or whatever from FLW Tour once they bought FLW Tour. They never stated how they were going to do it till they did it.
Yeah.
It's literally as if they're making up the rules as they go along. And they're doing it so that nobody gets eliminated. This is becoming akin to the Senior PGA Tour.
I was just fixing to say Tour of Champions.
This is becoming akin to the Senior PGA Tour, where, well, if you had a career on the PGA Tour, once you get to a certain age, you can just stay here forever, and we'll just keep paying. You keep having chances to win money, sponsor dollars, all that. It's becoming akin to that. I don't think it's like that because I think Jacob Wheeler's the best in the world. I think Ott Defoe's the second best in the world. Mm-hmm. And I think if you put Jacob Wheeler and Ott back on the Bassmaster Tour, they'd still be number 1, number 2.
That's right.
I really do believe that.
But there's guys.
But it can only go on for so long before we're going to have to look at them and go, maybe not.
Well, there's still guys that need breaks, that need to get in at that lower level because.
You got to give guys, and they did bring in 5 new ones.
Right.
I'll give them. They brought in 5 new ones, right. And Bass brought in 7. So when you look at it like that, there's not that much of a difference. But we didn't eliminate anybody.
You still got to trim the fat.
We haven't eliminated anybody, and we don't have a clear rule structure. At least now we have a clear rule structure, right?
Right.
Well, if they're going to stay with that, that's the other thing Bass Pro Tour does. They change the rules every year, like all the time. So next year, is it going to be top 10 FLW go in unless they're already qualified? Then that spot doesn't get given up. So we only eliminate the amount of guys that we bring in. Like what is the qualification standards? What is it?
Because the way Bassmaster did it, if you were already on the Elite Series,
right,
it went to the next guy.
Right.
And that's how it should be.
Right.
And you should be eliminating those bottom whatever.
Right. If Patrick Walters was second in the Central Division Opens, then the guy that was in 4th would get to go.
That's right.
Because the top 3 from each division go.
That's right.
Jacob Perez didn't qualify through Angler of the Year.
He opened
up number 4 in that division where he finished number 3.
That's right.
Yeah. They brought the deal is they were bringing in X amount of new guys were coming in from the Opens.
Yep.
Period. There was 12 guys from the Opens that were coming into the Elite Series, and there was 1 guy from the nation that was coming into the Elite Series.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It was at the right time, not the wrong time.
So I said they brought in 7. They actually brought in 13. They brought in 13 new guys.
13 total.
Well, they've invited 13 new guys.
13 total were invited.
But they've eliminated 7.
Yeah, 7 total with the Legends exemption. Yeah.
Give or take, depending on the Legends exemptions.
Right. Right. I mean, here's my... Man, I don't want to go too far down a rabbit hole and make this sound like I'm trying to...
Well, I'll say they've eliminated 23. Then they've extended a few Legends exemptions to those guys. So they've eliminated like 20 and brought in 13. So they eliminated 20 guys. Like 20 guys that fished Bassmaster last year ain't fishing next year.
Yeah.
Elite Series.
Elite Series level, yep.
Yeah.
So I'd like to
We said that wrong. Sorry about that. Go ahead, Chris. I keep cutting you off. Go ahead.
No. I'd like to say that if I was in the situation where I was the owner
of...
We'll just call it BPT because
Okay.
that's the topic of conversation.
Okay.
And I was the first head on the chopping block in a situation like that. I'd like to think that I would myself take a step back and go, you know what?
The integrity of your organization matters more
than
your personal ego and pride.
So I just...
Here's how it should be viewed. If I'm no longer good enough to compete with these guys, then I need to just step out and run this organization the best I can and make sure that I'm running the best tournament fishing organization in the world.
That's right.
Like I need to focus my efforts on that and not fishing because I'm obviously not good enough anymore.
Because here's the deal. At the beginning of all this all started because there was a business that wasn't working for the employees of the business. And so everybody wanted to say, hey, we're going to go build this new business, and this is what our game plan is going to be. This is what our MO is going to be. We're going to be a better organization for our anglers. We're going to be better for sponsors, but blah, blah, blah. It's just going to be better because we're going to be more fair. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. Okay, well, that's fine, but at the same time, you've got to give chances, and you've got to do it the right way. There's got to be qualifications. There's got to be set rules. There's got to be.
If you're going to be the best tournament organization that has the best fishermen,
then you need to put the best fishermen in there.
Guys can't stay forever.
Yeah, and then the ones that aren't performing need to get out.
Because you know what? The guy that's the best athlete at any sport you want to name today is not going to be the best at that forever. The top 10 basketball players on earth ain't going to be the same as the top 10 basketball players on earth next year. They're not. It's never going to happen that way.
That's right.
The top 10 bass fishermen right now ain't, like Jacob Wheeler and Otto Defoe, are not going to be the best 2 anglers in the world forever.
Nope.
Unless we just keep thinking they are because they keep competing against the same guys for the rest of their life because we don't eliminate anybody.
That's right. That's right.
It's a mess, man.
Yeah.
As much as I was excited about Bass Pro Tour, and as much as I enjoy their buzzer beater score tracking format.
Oh, format's amazing.
The score, it's intense.
Yes.
It's very intense to fish in, I'm sure. It's very intense to watch. It's more like a real sport. I am a fan of that.
Yes.
I am a fan of that.
Yes.
As much as I like all that, and their roster was so unbelievable a few years ago, and it's still unbelievable, but some of that shine's come off of that penny because it's just been the same guys, and we haven't seen them get tested with new meat in 3 years.
That's right.
It's disappointing how it feels like and seems like they just keep changing things however they want to, and they are becoming an organization that there could be an argument made that they are screwing their anglers over just like Bassmaster did. Because now you went from having a $0 entry fee. This is a professional organization. Once you qualified, no entry fee. Same payouts. No payouts have changed in 3 years. There's a $6,000 event entry fee for every event.
Yeah,
8 times a year. I ain't no math major, but 8 times 6 is $48,000 a year in entry fees that started as 0.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, dog, but like $48,000 a year is a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
To be like, well, you get to fish for this amount of money, and it's going to cost you no entry fees. Sweet. Awesome.
Yeah.
Hey, you get to fish for the same amount of money this year, but it's going to cost you $48,000 in entry fees.
What?
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. But you're guaranteed to make some money every tournament.
How is that not doing the same thing Bassmaster did?
But you're guaranteed to make money. But it's not going to cover your entry fee. Even if you...
Right, the payouts are the exact same.
Yeah.
The payouts are the exact same.
Yeah.
That's my point. You have the exact same payouts.
Yeah.
But you raise the entry fees by $48,000. So everybody wants to say, well, they raised the entry fee by $6,000. Yeah, per event. That's 48 G's, dog.
Yeah. I don't know many people that can just throw 48 G's all willy-nilly.
Okay, 48 times 80.
I need a calculator.
48,000 times 80. You want me to tell you what it is? It's $3.84 million. $3.84 million in revenue they just pulled from their field.
Just in entry fees.
Just, here you go, give me $3.8 million more. That's taking $3.8 million out of your angler's pockets. How is that not the same thing that they left bass for? That's the main reason they created this organization.
That's right. And if you're one of the ones that bought in from the beginning, you're locked in for life.
Yeah, you're not going to get eliminated.
Yeah.
We're going to change the rules every year to make sure you don't get eliminated.
Because I'd be willing to make the argument that the Tackle Warehouse Pro Circuit, the top 10 are better than the bottom 10 at BPT. But we'll never know.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll never know.
We kind of know because Michael Neal's in the top 4.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Who was number 1? Did we see that?
In what?
In the pro circuit.
Michael Neal.
Michael Neal was number 1?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The top 10, we can read it real quick. Top 10 is Michael Neal, Skeet Reese, Ryan Salzman, Justin Lucas, Cole Floyd, Cody Meyer, Ron Nelson, Clabian Johns, Jeremy Lawyer, and Mike McClellan.
So who was behind Salzman?
Justin Lucas.
Justin Lucas. So Ryan Salzman is better than Stephen Browning, Alton Jones Jr., Gerald Sporer, Jeff Sprague, Bobby Lane, not Skeet Reese. I mean, I'm just going based on Angler of the Year.
Oh, these were guys that finished behind.
Yeah.
Angler of the Year in Bass Pro Tour, and then he finished above.
Yeah.
Lucas in Bass Pro Tour. Yep.
Yeah. So, right?
I mean, this year, yeah, in 2021.
Yeah, in 2021, he's better than all those guys.
Yeah. Well, and where did Cody Meyer finish in Bass Pro Tour rankings?
He's on down the list, homeboy. 48th.
48th. Okay, so read me some names. Read me 3 or 4 names right behind him.
Brett Hite, Britt Myers, Terry Scroggins, Cliff Pace, Todd Faircloth,
That's
Jonathan
good.
Van Dam.
That's good. So that means that Cole Floyd's better than all those guys.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not a direct comparison. Obviously, different events, different tours.
Right. Nonetheless.
But yes, those guys can compete with those
It's the
guys.
general idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Obviously, they can compete.
Yeah.
Obviously, they can compete. It's a mess, man. It just, we're beating it over the head now. Y'all get the point. It's, Bass Pro Tour needs to be better.
Yep.
They need to be better in their qualification standards. If they need to charge that entry fee, they need to charge that entry fee. But don't stand on your high horse and act like you're doing something better than Bassmaster when you're going to go do the same thing.
Yeah.
You can't claim that anymore. You can't claim that you're more angler friendly anymore.
Right.
You can't.
That ship sailed. To be honest with you, I'm surprised that lasted as long as it did.
You know, here's the deal. At the end of the day, we got to look at this, and we complain about Bassmaster not paying out enough on their undercard series, their minor league series. We complain about how Bassmaster used to do the other guys. We complain about Bass Pro Tour, the way they're doing their guys. At the end of the day, eventually we got to look at this and understand that as much as we all love this sport, and as much as this sport is growing at the moment with high school fishing and live coverage and all that stuff, there's just not enough money to spread it as thin if we spread it with 2 professional tours, 2 professional leagues.
Yep.
There's not enough money to get it done right when you're spreading that amongst 2 different tours.
That's right. I agree.
And as long as we do have that, we're always going to have people competing against each other. And I think that open market competition is good. I'm a big free market advocate. But what that's going to do is that's going to make guys chase that dream for less money in the end, is what it's going to do. And that's okay. I think we all accept that when we sign up for it. I mean, that's the one thing you can say about it. As much as we're knocking it, they got more guys than ever signing up to try and do it. So,
Yeah.
it is what it is. There just ain't nothing we can do about it except sit here and complain, I guess.
We're good at that.
We're good at that. People are good at complaining. We're just like everybody else. Everybody looking for something to complain about, and by God, we're going to complain about this tonight. So
That's right.
it'll be something else here in 10 more minutes. But anyway,
And thankfully, y'all will actually listen to us because most people usually never listen to me when I complain.
right.
So
Right.
we thank y'all for that.
Right. Let's see if we got any comments,
Come
questions
on.
that we need to get after.
Yeah, we kept it kind of tame tonight, you know?
We did. Bull riding went through the same thing for the same reason, and a group of top bull riders created PBR, and you see what happened with that. Guys winning $1 million now.
Yep.
Well, but you got to have the right leadership. Like, you can't just turn into the same thing. Like, the PBR succeeded because it did something different.
That's right. And stuck to a business plan and made it work.
It didn't just change the rules to benefit this group or this individual or that individual.
Right.
Bobby Swain said, I would want zero part of any clown show that operates like that. Yeah, it's really hard to go all in and try to be one of the best in the world when you really don't know what the standards or rules are going to be year to year.
Yep.
Really hard. Michael Menace says, Boyd Duckett was on pace to be kicked out by the BPT, out of the BPT by the standards he set, and now no one is getting kicked out. I mean, that's what it seems like happened.
Yeah.
Going back to our Rayburn conversation on this one. Winter tournaments on Rayburn are incredibly lopsided. First place for the Brandon Belt tournament will be 80 pounds, and fifth place will be 45 pounds. Yeah, you're right. There's a big gap between first and the last check in all those winter tournaments on Rayburn.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, on a side note, Lake Lanier is on fire this fall.
Come on.
Let's all go to Georgia, baby. Wait a minute, I'm not going to Georgia. No way am I going to Georgia. You didn't even notice I was wearing this tonight, did you?
I sure did. I said that better say 2017 on it. Because it damn show can't say 2021, boy.
You don't even like the Braves. You just are a hater, dog. You're just a straight hater.
Hey,
no, you're a hater.
The enemy of my enemy is my friend. So.
You're an idiot.
Hey, just saying. You would never root for the Rangers. As you shouldn't.
No, I don't.
You shouldn't. It's your division rival.
I don't have a problem with the Rangers winning.
You shouldn't root for the Rangers if you're an Astros.
I don't root for the Rangers when they're playing the Astros. But they're a Texas team. No. So if they're playing anybody else, I'd rather them win than Atlanta.
You root for University of Texas?
If Texas Rangers would have gone to the World Series this year and been playing Atlanta, yes, I would be hoping the Texas Rangers beat the Atlanta Braves. And yes, I do want Texas to win when they're not playing A&M. That way when A&M beats them, it makes A&M look that much better.
No.
But they ain't winning.
Boy.
They got them beaten. Where's all our Texas fans at? Because we did a little bit of this yesterday. Iowa State got a little bit of that saw off yesterday.
Hey, I hope y'all don't think flags are gonna be flying. There ain't gonna be no laundry on the field in the SEC when people are doing this. Because they don't wear our feelings.
Dude, we've made a horrible mistake. We just went tournament fishing for somebody said, and just like that, I fun fish, not tournament fish anymore.
Sorry, dog.
I mean, it is it's a losing proposition at that level. Now your local tournaments and stuff, they're fun. Here's my suggestion to people that are wanting to tournament fish, and you're just getting into it as a weekend hobby. Fish the ones you can afford to fish.
Yeah,
it's just like gambling. Like there's nothing wrong with taking $1,000 to a casino
and losing it all
and losing every dollar.
Yep.
If your budget's $100, your budget's $100. If it's $500, it's $500. If it's $1,000, whatever. If it's $10, it's $10. Whatever it is.
See, and that's the beauty. That's the beauty of all these amateur level events that are all over the state of Texas because you've got your $40 entry jackpot tournaments.
And that's
Saturdays.
My whole point is you pick the one that you can afford to lose. And you got to understand that fishing is gambling. Fishing in general is gambling because you're gambling that you're making the right decision, not the wrong decision to catch the next fish. Right. But tournament fishing is 100,000% gambling. Yep. It's gambling. That's all it is. And so don't gamble what you can't afford to lose, right? That's the old that's grandpa's advice for the casino, right? Don't gamble what you can't afford to lose.
That's right.
Same thing with tournament fishing. Now, if you're wanting to pursue it as a career, try to get into the Elite Series, well, this is the price you pay to get in the way it's set up right now through the Opens.
Yep.
You pay these crazy entry fees and travel costs, and unless you win that first place prize in one of them Opens, you're not going to make a profit, but you're doing that to try and catch the carrot dangling out there that says Elite Series on it.
You've got to be so incredibly talented, and I'll be dead honest with you. I've read a lot of guys' stories that have made it through the Opens and stuff like that, and there is some kind of financial backing involved more times than not, because it's just not sustainable to the average person.
Yeah.
To actually financially be able to fund that road that you need to take to get where you need to go.
Yep.
Because it's a money pit. I mean, just no other way to put it.
No doubt about it. Man, we appreciate you guys watching. As always, he said that's the ones I fish $80 entry fee to win $2,000. Yeah.
Hey, yeah, come on.
And then, if you win $2,000, it's great. Hey, mama gets a whatever mama likes. I don't know what your woman likes, but mama gets not on the town or a new dress or whatever.
Daddy gets a new active target. I don't know.
Or we get a new rod or something. Who knows? Yeah. But if you win a $2,000, great. But if you lose $80, it's just gambling. You lost $80. You have fun losing that $80.
That's right.
That's how you have to approach tournament fishing. Unless you're really trying to do it as a career. And that's a whole different ballgame.
That's right.
So, we can probably get some music going on the way out tonight, huh? Talk to us, Chris. Wait, we got a segment we haven't done. What is grinding Chris's gears this week?
I've actually been pretty happy this last week. I've been okay.
There's nothing grinding your gears?
Not really. I mean, I guess.
Well, if the Astros would have won, that would have changed.
Oh, I've been mad.
He does not like the Astros.
I hate
he is
the
Astros.
I don't
hater.
Dislike the Astros. I would venture to say I hate the Astros.
You hate the Astros?
Hate them.
Astros hater.
Yep.
Certified.
Astros. Big time. Big time. I went to school with so many Astros fans.
Okay.
And when the Rangers made their 2-year run in the World Series, you know,
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God. I heard so much that it converted me to just a full-blown Astros hater. I love watching them play baseball. I think they're a great baseball team. This was really their last year to make the run they made as flawlessly as they did.
Who?
The Astros.
This was their last year.
Well, in the recent future, yeah.
Why? Why are you saying that?
Well, I mean, you got a lot of big names that are going to have to that are going to cost a lot of money to re-sign.
Yeah, they just offered Carlos Correa $30 million a year today.
Yeah. So if they can land that, that'll be good.
I don't know that I would say it's their last year. I don't know if I'd say all that.
They're not going to win 100. They're not going to win 100 games without keeping the.
I mean, as long as the Rangers in division, we're not going to finish last for a while.
No, if the Rangers are in the division, I mean that's an easy 15 wins a year. No doubt. As long as Nolan Ryan stays in your front office,
we're going to be all right.
You're going to be all right.
And you sure right. Because when the Rangers were going to the World Series, who was in their front office?
There seems to be a common denominator here.
Who was
you know what? There is something grinding my gears.
What's grinding your gears?
Why did we not hold on to Nolan Ryan?
Because John Daniels is an arrogant, egotistical piece of garbage. He wanted everybody to know that was his team that he built.
That's
and quit
right.
giving Nolan Ryan credit.
That's exactly
He was upset
right.
that Nolan Ryan was getting the credit when he was the general manager of that team that he was building, which that team, they were set up to be the dynasty of baseball for years.
Oh, yeah.
And he started trading off and getting rid of every piece that Nolan Ryan brought in, fired Nolan Ryan, and it's been a train wreck dumpster fire ever since. Just a downhill slide.
That dude couldn't coordinate a 7-year-old hopscotch tournament. And we're going to let him sit in the front office of the Rangers and just cripple. I mean, we were the third worst team in baseball this year.
Yeah. So whether you're trying to figure out the Bass Pro Tour standings or what's wrong with the Rangers, it's got a little bit of this to it. You might be riding
the crazy train.
The crazy train, folks.
Yeah, that's right.
This has been the Fish Life Podcast, ladies and gentlemen. It's been the lowest budget, actually live fishing podcast that exists. That makes us the L-ball, makes y'all the low ballers. Like and subscribe. Come back next week. Chris, do that thing you do.
Gig 'em Aggies, boys. Saw 'em off.